My name is Mark Channer. I'm a journalist with London Loves Business, and today we are joined by Ollie Ollerton for our Meet the Entrepreneur series. Ollie is best known for his appearance on the hit channel 4 SAS Who Dares Wins, who now spends his time as an entrepreneur running companies, one of which is Breakpoint. So Ollie, how did you go from being an SAS Who Dares Wins star to setting up Breaking Point and Battle Ready 360?
Well, really, for me, that was an easy transition because I came back to the UK after bouncing all over the world in 2014 with the sole intention of starting my company, Breakpoint. And the sort of ethos of that business is to help other people, using my experience and also the things I've learned on my journey. Actually, the Channel 4 opportunity, or the TV stuff, came as a separate. Came separately sometime afterwards. It was almost like a gift from the gods, to be quite honest, because I needed, with any business, regardless of how good the idea is, you need exposure. And, I had no idea what was around the corner, but, I was using everything in my powers to visualize, to meditate, to try and bring something into my life that was going to help this business get off the floor, because money was something I didn't have. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, Foxy called me and said, the idea that we've got for Breakpoint, which was really about taking people and giving them a special forces experience, would you like to do that on TV? And I thought it was I thought it was an invitation to a pub at that time, but it wasn't. Obviously, we was with the production company, and that's how it all started, really. And next thing, that was Series 1 SAS Who Dares Wins. And at that time, I thought it would be a one-hit wonder. It's just going to be for sort of, an interest documentary kind of thing. But it grew and grew and grew. But I've always treated every SAS series that I've been involved with, I've always treated it like it's the last one, because you never know when it's going to end.
Sure. So tell us a little more about Battle Ready and Battle Ready 360.
Yeah, Battle Ready 360 is mine and Jason Fox's business. It's comprised of three things. And that's why the reason it's called 360, it's a 360-degree approach to your fitness, health and well-being and fitness. And that is mind, body and nutrition. Now, a lot of apps talk about, and fitness regimes talk about, it's all in the mind. It's all, what does that mean? So really, I feel I know we're a global first where we've actually got a psychometric character assessment tool built within the app, based on neuroscience. And me and Foxy both know that, the key to achieving anything in life starts up here. So, that really is where anyone, a lot of people, and it's a bit of misinformation and bad education, really, I think, at the moment. And that's the fact that people are training to look like a certain person. They're training to be this, to chase the aesthetics as opposed to chase the feeling, which is just the way that we're wired. But a lot of people that chase that dream and get to look how they want to, they're never happy because they've not sorted this out. And until you're mentally prepared, you're never physically ready. So that really is, if we had to have a triangle of importance: mind, body and nutrition.
Sure. That makes a lot of sense, actually. So tell us more about your clients and how you've helped them navigate through the current pandemic.
Yeah, well, it's been an interesting year for everyone. And it's really, I think anyone that survives in this climate really understands that you've got to find the opportunity within a crisis. And there is always an opportunity in a crisis, regardless. And I think especially, definitely from Special Forces soldiers, we're, quite comfortable being in crisis and looking for the opportunities. So for us, I do have three businesses that we run from this. This here is the Breakpoint Academy. This upper level here is the Battle Ready 360 area. We've got Breakpoint downstairs, and then I've got 00 Global, which is my own personal company, which is the books and my motivational talks. But whereas our front-facing business is almost dissolved this year, and everything's been pushed back to 2021. We have really sort of taken the grip of the online training, the online programs, the virtual training, and we've turned our classroom into a studio basically downstairs. So, I don't escape a week without doing probably 3, sometimes 4 virtual talks 2 corporates. And for me, it's like, I feel I've got a point of difference because I make my talks very much a call to action, as opposed to, well, that was an interesting presentation from someone that was in the Special Forces. I make my talks very much a call to action. I want them to do things. I want them to follow a process that I've actually used and still use to this day to help them really achieve their goals, and really start to invest in themselves. One thing I'll say about regardless of what industry you're in, whatever you do as a job, the most important project is you. And once you really start to build the foundations of yourself and make sure you've got a really solid root structure, that then emulates through every aspect of your life, your work life, your personal life, everything. So, a lot of people will turn around and say, well, I just don't have time to do this, don't have time to do that. I try and sort of turn that on its head, because if you can start investing in yourself, it's the best investment you'll make.
So the pandemic, unfortunately, has led to quite a large increase in mental health issues for many people, irrespective of who they are. What advice would you give to our viewers?
Really, I would say, this does stem from the Special Forces. In times of crisis, sometimes, a lot of the times when things get really tough, take it into the Special Forces world. When all around you is falling apart, the best thing you can do is pull it into 1 meter square. And that really concentrate just on your immediate environment. Try and cut away the things that you can't control and focus on the things that you can. The most unpredictable future, I certainly know. I think everyone, I don't think anyone has the ability to predict what next year will look like. But it's really about being able to, at these times, really pull everything back, really focus on your own personal space. And if that means a group of people, everyone working within their space, you all work together to make a solid unit, and really start to look for the opportunities. Because like I said before, regardless of the situation, unfortunately, there will be a lot of businesses already have done, falling by the wayside. And it is a kind of survival of the fittest kind of mentality at the moment, but you really need to look for the opportunities, because there are plenty of them.
Now that firms are not meeting with their staff in person, what do you think companies need to do to help boost employee morale for their home hobbled workers?
Yeah, I think what's happening, obviously what's happening now, a lot of people obviously are isolated, they're working on their own. There needs to be put, and I make sure this is a part of the lectures that I do for businesses at the moment. I make sure that they establish a few things, and that is really, we used to work in very small 4-man teams, but we would never break down to any less than 2. And that really, we used to call that the buddy system. And that really means that, you've always got at least one person within your network, your professional network, that you can not only confide in, but someone that's got your back. Someone that knows when things aren't going too well, someone that, on a mental health basis, when the energy is different, they know that they can talk to you. And also knowing that is reciprocated is the way that works. But and making sure that people check in on a daily basis, that can help on a number of things. That can help on mental health issues. That can also help on accountability. So when people state that they want to do something that week, it is easy to lose that structure. So it's really making sure that people keep each other accountable to your KPIs, if you want to call it that. And really, I think just having that person to talk to and confide in, I think people have got to also understand that some people are handling this a lot easier than others. And if you're one of those people that are, you've got to start thinking about people that probably aren't handling it too well. So really being there for them. One thing about businesses, they've moved away from their offices, but they're trying to bring the 9-to-5 structure into the homes. And that needs a whole load of rethinking. So, the people working from homes, you haven't got your commuting time. You haven't got getting ready time for work. Well, a lot less, I would say, definitely. So there's a lot of time being shaved off. And I think really companies need to start thinking about how that structure of their day looks. I really think companies should try and adopt some schedule. It doesn't have to be the fact that everyone has to attend, but basically, schedule a Zoom fitness event, schedule a Zoom just chatting event, schedule a Zoom mindset meeting. All these kind of things where the employees have basically got a schedule that they can, that they can go to these meetings or do these group activities from the comfort of their home, but they're still, connecting with everyone in their group. And I just think we just need to rethink. It's not, you can't take the office sort of 9 to 5 concept and put that into your home life. You've got other people working from home. They've got their agendas to fulfill as well. They've got kids and everything else. And I think that needs a lot, smart organizations will really be thinking about that and how they restructure that working day for their employees.
Do you know of any organizations currently that are doing this?
No, I don't. And it's something I kind of stumbled over yesterday. I was on a group chat for a mental health chat. And it's something I just thought about when I was on that chat, and I just thought, people have done one thing, they've moved away from the office, but people are then trying to adopt a 9 to 5 sort of regime that doesn't fit into a home life, and it's I just thought that definitely needs redressing, and because a lot of it as well is the fact that because people are at home, you've got to be careful that people are not. There's two things: people can be underworking and not delivering, and they could also be overworking. So they're a slave to their desk and they're working 12-hour days or whatever it is. So I think it's really important that people put a structure in. For me personally, I mean, I can't sit still anyway, but I can't work for any longer than around about 45 minutes. And I have to get up, either get some fresh air, do something, just walk around the building, whatever it is, and then go back to it. And I think that's a much more effective way than just slog. And then your sort of enthusiasm, motivation is doing on a downward slope. I find that is a lot smarter way to work. I also have a cutoff. When I leave the office, I leave the office. And that should also be established at home. When you walk out of your office, whether that's a makeshift office or what it is, you should be shutting the door, and that should be then family time and relaxation time, you time. I know sometimes that doesn't work because you've got schedules, but in general, as a rule of thumb, you need to have that scheduled cutoff time. Also need to speak to your family. If you've got two people from separate entities, separate business life, then you need to sit down and talk how that's going to work. Who's going to have the office? Who's going to, what Zoom calls have you got today? What is the schedule? Otherwise, that'll cause a load of friction. Next thing, you'll be arguing, and it won't be a happy environment to not only live but work.
For you personally, and the like Foxy and others who are military or ex-military special forces, you've already got that discipline. It's already ingrained into you, from basic training and throughout your life. But for not ordinary people, and families, they not many people have that, to the extreme that you do, for instance.
No, I totally agree. And that is one thing, I definitely think one thing I'm happy I took away from the military is that level of discipline, because that's certainly what helped me get out of my dark pit of despair, if you want to call it that. And, it was establishing. I got to a point in my life, after leaving the military, and then really after 10 years, I lost, that discipline disappeared. There was no structure. I was, and that caused me a lot of mental health issues. But it was then establishing, so slowly introducing that discipline back into my life that really got me back on track. Really understanding that, taking away the factors of things that were affecting my productivity and my creativity, like drinking, which I don't drink at all now. I just find that drink just offers me nothing whatsoever. Even a couple of drinks just affects my mood state and my clarity, my productivity, everything. So, things like that, I kind of made a list of things that were no longer serving me and considered whether I wanted them in my life or not. Alcohol didn't make the list.
And how do you just sort of wake up one day and make that decision and just say, right, that's it? How would you stop that? What advice would you have for people who are drinking more now, given that we're working from home, we're in a pandemic?
Listen, I came up with a thing that works for me. It might not work for anyone else, but I've got a thing I created, I suppose, and that's called the purpose pyramid. And I put the subject matter inside the pyramid. At the top of the pyramid, I say, do I enjoy it? At the other corner, I say, does it add growth? Does it add value? And then on the last corner, I put, does it help others? Now, if I don't tick any of those, for the subject matter inside the triangle, that needs to disappear from my life. If I'm ticking 1, I need to make a serious, I need to make an evaluation whether I want it in my life. And if I'm ticking 2, then, that's I'm happy to have that in my life. So really, it was a case of me analyzing the things, the habits, the routines, the things, some people in my life, and understanding what was serving me. My values and my goals have changed in the last 10 years, and I'm very much now business focused. Whereas before, up until probably 2010, 2011, I was very much party focused. So my whole life was about drinking, socializing, having fun, and that changed. So, I then needed to make some changes to my life, to the circles I socialized in, and the things I valued. So, for me, it was at that point, 2011, it was when I really turned things around. It was because I was having some serious mental health issues. And even at some points, I was, when I say I considered suicide, I don't know if I'd have ever done that. But the fact that you're thinking about it is you're already far enough gone. Now, if people, let's talk about mental health there, because if the baseline on life is consistently low, then you really need to do something about that. And we have a terrible way of dealing with that. We're always looking for comparison. Why should we have a mental health issue? Some people believe that they don't deserve to have a mental health issue, and they're not allowed to have a mental health issue. So firstly, they won't deal with it. Secondly, they won't talk to anyone else about it because they're embarrassed. And I just want to say to people that there is no checklist. People don't own PTSD. At the end of the day, if your baseline on life is consistently low, you need to do something about it. And unfortunately, if you don't have any kind of mindfulness practices, things that you do that really exercise this up here and give yourself some free space and bandwidth, you are at some point going to have mental health issues. Neurons start to die up here when you're about 30, but the information going in increases. So you need to make sure that you deal with that.
What advice would you give to people in how to deal with uncertainty?
I think really, we live in uncertain times, and that is just a part of life. I think you need to take directive action about what you want in life. It's hard to say at the moment, focus on your goals, because and people say, what goal? I can't focus on goals. Look at the state of the world. There's no better time really to focus on your goals, because when it comes to goals, people think there's 2 types of people in the world. There's people that have goals and people that don't. I can guarantee you and tell you, it is fact that regardless of who you are, we all have goals. Our subconscious is a goal-striving, goal-getting machine that will stop at nothing until it gets what your dominant thoughts focus on. So really, whatever you fill your head with and your thoughts will become your reality. That is fact. So really, it's even in these uncertain times, start taking directive action to what you want your 2021 to look like. Start working towards that goal, start breaking it down, make sure that goal scares you to some element. Nothing was ever great unless at some point you doubted your ability to achieve it. So really start to focus on a goal for 2021. And the good thing about that is, what that does is, when you have a goal that overwhelms your circumstances, you no longer become a victim of your circumstances. When you don't have a goal that's big enough, there's nothing there to pull you through those hard times. So you become a victim of the hard times and you get lost in that. So, in uncertain times, people losing their jobs, all kinds of stuff, financial pressure, you've got to really, I say even more so in these crisis moments, to start making goals, start building where you want to be, start focusing your emotions and your visualization on who you want to be, where you want to be, and how you're going to get there.
What's the one thing you've learned in lockdown?
The one thing I've learned in lockdown is there is opportunity in crisis, and not to get bogged down, there is a silver lining with everything. So, and that goes from pre-lockdown. That's just the nature of the way I look at things. Look for the opportunity. It was about, for us, not to focus on the misfortune of losing loads of work. It was on where can we create other opportunities. So really, it's about being I even call it like a situational chameleon. You know, you have to sort of adapt. You have to really look where the opportunities are. So really, the bottom line for me on that question is look for where the opportunities are, regardless of the situation.
What's your future plans?
My future plans is to really pursue. I see a massive opportunity in the virtual work that I do with corporates. My plans basically are really to develop the app, Battle Ready 360. We've also created what's known as the Battle Box. So this is what we created. Basically, this is one of our opportunities we created in lockdown, and that's basically a pop-up gym in the box. So really, you download the app, and all your fitness equipment's in here. Resistance bands.
Can we see some of the equipment?
We've actually got a load hanging up behind me there, but it's got towel, it's got protein shakers, it's got different types of resistance bands.
Okay.
It's got door jams so that you can make anchor points anywhere in your home with carabiners. So you put those into doors. You use the resistance band so you can do overhead pull downs and all kinds of exercises. That then works, and you've got a load more equipment in there. That then works with the app. So you basically have then your personal trainer, which is me and Foxy, which sits there nicely on top of the box. And there you have your home fitness gym.
And how would our viewers be able to find the Battle Ready 360 app?
You basically go onto either Google Play, Android, or you go onto iOS, onto Apple Store, and you put in Battle Ready 360. You'll find the app on there. There's a 14-day free trial, and all the resources and everything are there. So as you can see, that's a load of kit there hanging up as well that is in the Battle Box. And these are actually flying out the door at the moment. You know, people are understanding that they can work from home, they can work out from home. And, just because there's lockdown, it doesn't mean there's a shutdown.
I have to say, it's been absolutely a pleasure to have this interview with you. This brings us to the end of our Meet the Entrepreneurs. And thank you so much. Our audience will absolutely appreciate your candidness and all of your advice. And many thanks.
Thanks very much, Mark. Great to see you.